So for about a year now, a certain critter has taken over my life. This little guy is the main character of an obscure, long-forgotten virtual pet game from 1997. His name is Fin Fin, and he is the main character of the game Fin Fin on the Magic Planet. Yes, he is a dolphin and a bird. Today, I'm excited to introduce him to all of you. So I want this video to be a fun iceberg for Fin Fin fans, but I also want it to be a fun way to introduce people to Fin Fin and to teach people about him. So I'll explain what this game is here. Fin Fin on the Magic Planet is a virtual pet sim game that uses a microphone that lets Fin Fin hear you. In this game, you observe Fin Fin, his family, and other animals on the planet Tio in real time. Tio is a magical alien planet full of its own unique wildlife. As you observe Tio in real time, you'll see it change seasons, see its weather change, and see different events as the year goes on. It feels like a real planet full of life inside your computer, constantly going and changing even when the game is turned off. So I say that Fin Fin is a virtual pet, but he really isn't like other virtual pets. He isn't really a pet at all. You don't need to take care of him, you just watch him and befriend him by simply talking to him and spending time with him. The most you ever do to take care of him is giving him limo fruits, but he'll only really take them from you if he trusts you. It's just a little treat. He gets all the food and water he needs all on his own. It's more like you're observing and befriending a real wild animal. This is why I love Fin Fin and why I think it's a special game. You're watching this realistic feeling alien planet, observing its wildlife, learning about it, and experiencing it. If you want to play Fin Fin for yourself, I recommend the application Fin Fin on QEMU, made by JTink. It is a specialized version of the Windows 98 emulator QEMU, made to play Fin Fin. There is no complicated setup to run this or anything, you just download it and play the game. I'll have it linked in the description below. So I first learned about Fin Fin by watching a certain stream that will come up later in this video. Around a year ago now, I think, actually. I almost immediately became obsessed with this bird after that, and I started playing the game and just began to learn everything I could about him, taking in anything and everything I can find about this game. It was and still is a pretty big hyperfixation of mine. I wasn't alone in this experience. A lot of people fell in love with Fin Fin and wanted to learn more about him. So a small fanbase began to develop, leading into a sort of resurgence of this game. This fanbase has gotten together and has and continues to find everything they can about this game, and have put together this iceberg with everything we have learned about him. There's a surprising amount of interesting information about this small game, with stuff still being found to this day. There were even things being discovered as I wrote this video. So before I begin exploring this iceberg, I would like to thank Andy, who made the Fin Fin fan club server and the Living in Tio Tumblr account, for making this iceberg and giving me permission to use it in this video. I'll have his original iceberg post linked in the description. I also added a few other entries that other members of the server suggested. I like how you can tell what I added, I just did not find the right font. Now, most people at this point know what an iceberg video is, but just in case you don't know, or if you need a refresher, I will give a quick explanation. An iceberg is an image ranking facts about a topic in order of obscurity. There are several tiers. The first tier at the top of the iceberg contains the most well-known facts, and the last tier deep down below the iceberg are the more obscure facts that only super fans will know. Now that I've explained icebergs, let's start with the first tier. I want to start with talking about finfin.de, the FinFin homepage. Almost anything about FinFin can be found here, from downloads and archives of various FinFin media to information about the game itself and all the different creatures on Tio. It is a great source for all things FinFin, and is pretty much essential if you're interested in this game. Please do give it a visit. Fin Fin Come and See 'Em Club Mix is an upload of the song of the same title to YouTube from 2013. If you know Fin Fin, you almost for sure have clicked on this video and listened to this song, or this is why you know what he is. It is probably the most well-known Fin Fin thing at this point. It's a very fun, catchy song that gets passed around a lot. It's from the album Fin Fin Come and See 'Em by 2 for Fun, featuring Fin Fin, of course. Anyways, if it wasn't for this upload of the song, I probably wouldn't know about Fin Fin, since it was this specific upload that got played on one of the streamer Wayne Radio TV's streams, leading to him doing the Fin Fin stream, which is the next topic of this video.
Jackfruit only diet.
Whoa!
Oh, what is that?
Look at that freaky thing!
Oh, it's disgusting. Kill it.
Fin Fin, kill!
Fin Fin, kill it.
Woo!
Oh my god, I was right.
Leave Fin Fin alone!
It worked! You saved
You
him!
saved him!
The stream spread the knowledge of Fin Fin and was one of the causes of the current resurgence. This was a very fun stream, you should go watch it. I actually can't watch this stream anymore, I just get sad whenever they yell at Fin Fin and scare him. I can't see Fin Fin sad, it's too much. He has recently revisited Fin Fin in another stream. The stream has a fucking fantastic intro, go watch it. I mentioned that the Wayne Radio TV stream is one of the causes of the resurgence, while the other one is the LGR video about Fin Fin. LGR is a YouTuber that covers retro PC games and technology, and he made a video about Fin Fin. It's a good video unboxing the game and going over the basics of Fin Fin and reviewing the game itself. Though I do have a complaint. They said that Fin Fin was disappointing. The Fin Fin Smart Sensor upgrade. Fin Fin is watching you. The Smart Sensor is an upgrade that allows Fin Fin to see you when you play. I know how that sounds, but I don't think it was anything advanced at all. I don't think he actually does see you. I think it is what it says it is. It's just a sensor. It detects motion, so Fin Fin just knows when you're there and when you're not. You move and Fin Fin reacts. Just simple things like that. This was just an upgrade you could get for the game, but it was also included in some specific bundles. Well, that's all of the most well-known Fin Fin information. Finformation, if you will. It's now time to go a little deeper in this iceberg. We're now in the second tier. There was a Fin Fin mascot at E3 1997. He was there to promote the release of the game Fin Fin on TO, the Magic Planet. It's a very adorable costume, I love it. There's not really much else about this to my knowledge, but there is that one edit of them dancing that I love a lot that got a little bit of popularity. Orcadactyl, also known as Gillerman, also known as G-Man Fly, is one of the many creatures that can be found on TO. So first, let me explain those different names. G-Man Fly was the name we used for them for a while, since we didn't actually know what to call them until pretty recently. Gillerman is the direct translation of their name from Japanese, just spelled in English as it sounds. That of course is where the name G-Man Fly also comes from. It's just Gillerman Fly shortened. Then there is Orcadactyl. This name can be found in the book T.O. The Other Earth Official World Guide. This is an amazing book detailing everything about Fin Fin's world and all the creatures there. It even has things that didn't make it to the final game. We'll be talking about one of these later. But I would like to mention this roly-poly cat found in the book. I just adore them. Anyways, this is where the name Orcadactyl was found. This is their official English name. It took so long to actually figure this out since this book seems pretty rare. It was only found by a community member and uploaded online last November. Thank you Kit Pigeon on archive.org for finding and scanning this book. It's amazing. Anyways, let's actually talk about Orcadactyl now. Oh my god. Spent way too long on its names. Orcadactyl is of course an orca and a pterodactyl. They're kind of like if Finfin was fucked up. They're like the shadow to Finfin's Sonic. Orcadactyl is actually evil though. You see, they can often be seen around the nest, which is where Finina and Finfin Jr. live. They are Finfin's family, but there is a very rare event where Orcadactyl can take away Finfin Jr., leading to his death. There is no recorded evidence of this actually happening. It would be an extremely rare event if it does. But there are signs pointing to it being possible. It says that Orcadactyl does prey on Finfin's babies in the official world guide. And in an interview with Finfin's producer, Makoto Tezuka, he mentions Junior dying to enemies. There's also the fact that, yes, Finfin Jr. can actually die. This is the next topic of this iceberg, by the way. I should explain a bit about who Junior actually is though. Around every month, Finfin and his wife Finina lay a new egg. This is Finfin Jr. As time passes, you get to watch Junior grow up and eventually leave the nest when he's fully grown. I'm sorry, Finfin. I'm sorry. I love you, Finfin. This is probably my favorite part of the game. I just love Finfin Jr. so much, but sadly he can die if you're not careful. There are poison berries right by the nest that look exactly like limo fruit, the fruit Finfin and his family love to eat. These berries are called limodaki, and if you don't stop Junior from eating them, he will lick them and die. This has happened to me and it's extremely sad. It made me cry. Finfin and Finina come over and see him and they start crying and it's a lot. Rest in peace, Xbox. We will miss you dearly. But that is the one way we know he can die that has been recorded. The other two potential ways Junior can die are of course the Orcadactyl and the basket carrier. It's said that he can grab Junior and carry him away in the basket, which we haven't seen yet either. Had a really bad scare one time with the basket carrier crawling right into the nest while Junior was all by himself. I almost had a heart attack. Nothing happened though, he just crawled away and Junior was completely safe. There's one other thing that I would like to talk about relating to Junior's death, and that is the appearance of something known as the Strange. When they die, you see the Strange floating up and away from their body. The Strange can also make other appearances around Tio on rare occasions, so I believe that the Strange is the soul of animals on Tio. That does make it really sad to see floating around. So I just looked back at the iceberg and realized Junior's death is actually a tier below this one, but I've already got all of this done. Can we just pretend that I said all of this later in tier 3? Thank you. Anyways, time to talk about the anime. Tio the Magic Planet is an anime about Tio. I don't say it's a Finfin anime because he's barely really in this. It's mostly about this warrior princess girl Marika, but she's cool. And Finfin is still here in beautiful 160 by 120p resolution. Yes, this is sadly the only quality this anime is in, which is sad because the anime looks really pretty actually, and it's really fun seeing Finfin and other Tio animals animated in this style. And the animation is done really well. Look how cute Finfin is here. I hope we can someday find this in better quality. It does really feel like a pilot episode, like whoever made this wanted it to be a full series, but it sadly never got picked up. The outro is also one of my favorite Finfin songs, Tio the Other Earth, from the album of the same name. It's a really interesting anime and a fun watch. Go check it out. It's on YouTube with English captions. FinFin Microsoft Agent was a program that let you have FinFin as a Microsoft agent. If you don't know, a Microsoft agent is a program that lets you have a little character guide you around Microsoft. The most well-known ones are probably Clippy or Bonsai Buddy. You've probably seen them around, except Bonsai Buddy was actually a virus, I think? But FinFin wasn't, he just wants to help you. This agent is also where all those cute gifs of FinFin come from. If you still have a computer with Windows XP or a virtual machine, you can still get this. It's on the Internet Archive or finfin.de. The plushies. You might have seen some of these around if you looked at FinFin stuff before. These FinFin plushies were in some bundles with the game, and they were sold separately as well. There's also a FinFin Junior plushie that came bundled with the Nest update. These are quite rare and expensive nowadays, but I would die for them. There are actually 2 even rarer FinFin plushies. These include the plush keychain and a rare larger FinFin. As far as I can tell, the large FinFin plush is only shown in marketing materials. I don't think these were something you could get. I can't describe how badly I want all of these. They're just so adorable. Tantantio is a FinFin rhythm game. Tantantio is a FinFin rhythm game. Oh my god. Tantantio is a FinFin rhythm game that was only released in Japan and Korea, but it actually got an English fan translation recently. In this game, FinFin discovers that he's the only animal on Tio that doesn't know rhythm, and finds out about a yearly rhythm festival. This rhythm festival is a competition, and whoever wins gets rewarded the title of Rhythm Master. FinFin wants to win this title, but he needs to learn rhythm first. So he embarks on a journey. He goes and meets the other animals on Tio to learn rhythm. This game is a bit rough around the edges, but I had such a great time. The first rhythm game was a bit of a bad start for me. I had a hard time judging the distance of the fish, which made it a bit hard for me to know when to press and learn the rhythm. I got really worried that the whole game was going to be like this. There was just a lot of fish and it was overwhelming and I lost quite a bit. But I ended up discovering the existence of an easy mode in the settings and just wiped the floor with these fish afterwards. By wiping the floor, I mean I got 80% and probably barely passed, but I will still take this victory. After this, FinFin flew to Limo Valley, where I ended up finding the best game. There was no challenge at all to this game, but I had an amazing time. In this game, FinFin sings a song and you have a beat attached to each letter key, and you have to choose which one best fits FinFin's current song. And there are a few options to choose from that will allow you to pass. So it's a pretty easy game, you just press the keys until you find one that makes the animals in Limo Valley dance. But these beats are so awesome. Oh my god. After this game, I then got to learn more about rhythm from Peaky Seal, which is probably the best actual rhythm game here. It was a very nice time. I like how each level in this is a different minigame. But then I found out this was the end of easy mode, and I had to play through a normal mode to continue. I had flashbacks to the fish minigame and sadly had to give up here. There was just no way that I personally could do that right now. Maybe I'll go back and try to learn, but I will sadly not be getting the title of Rhythm Master anytime soon. Finfin can change colors. So when you're in the Emil forest and offer Finfin a limo fruit, if he takes multiple of the same color of limo fruits from you in a row, he will change to that color. There are 6 different color variations that you can have, each with different levels. Also, if he changes color before a new junior egg is laid, it'll actually change Junior's color too. That is so adorable. But him taking that many of the same color limo fruit from you would be a pretty rare event. So there are also cheat codes you can use to do this. There are actually 2 other ways that Finfin will change color in-game. If you keep mistreating Finfin and waking him up while he's trying to sleep, he will turn gray and get very sick. Also, if you happen to give Finfin an overly ripe limo fruit, he will turn a dark shade of blue and act very silly. The virtual manual calls this Finfin getting limo loopy. But this is just Finfin getting drunk. And that's it for Tier 2. We're now halfway through this iceberg. It's now time to dive in a bit deeper and go down to Tier 3. Now, I've already talked about the Finfin mascot seen at E3 in 1997, but there are other lesser-known Finfin mascots that have made appearances around the world. There's this sort of strange-looking one that was at the Text Expo IFA in Berlin. There was even a performance of the song Finfin Come See Him there, with Finfin dancing and singing on stage. Supposedly, when this happened, everyone ran to the stage with watering cans and pretended to water Finfin. I guess they were giving those away at the Finfin booth for some reason. I don't really know what's going on with this one, but it sounds like it was a fun event. Then there's this Finfin biting Dave Thompson, the comedian and actor of Tinky Winky from Teletubbies. 2 of Finfin's teeth fell out in this picture, and there's a Finfin plushie on his foot for some reason. Then there's this Finfin in the Youth Science Museum in Kobe, Japan. The person inside this particular mascot had some very interesting things to say about their experience in the Finfin mascot. I recommend reading the post that the Tumblr user FinFinFan1997 made, archiving what they wrote. I've also gotten a lot of my information about these mascots and certain other things in this iceberg from this account's posts, so do go check it out anyways. There's a lot of good stuff here, but I will read some excerpts from what the Finfin mascot wrote here. When entering the Finfin, the arm is of course put in the part corresponding to the Finfin's wings. Therefore, there is not a single arm that is free. This is what it means to say that you have seen hell. In the pain that I couldn't even writhe, a voice that I didn't think was my own leaked out from the depths of my throat. I desperately tried to scratch my nose somewhere and shook my head, but it was in vain, and my nose didn't even reach my shoulder. Is it shallow to try to do something about it? A shallow person will be punished by God. As I stumbled into the waiting area and took off my Finfin costume, the guards' eyes filled with tears, and they said something. It must have been hot. Thank you for your hard work. The flame of resurrection is welling up inside me. Going back from hell, yes. Call me Sujimura on the way back from hell, I shouted with pride. God damn, give this guy a raise. There's also the Finfin mascot appearance with Uncle Touch, who is Fujitsu's, the company that made Finfin's, mascot at the time. Uncle Touch reminds me a lot of Spamton. They look the same and they're both businessmen. Speaking of Spamton, Finfin has an appearance in Deltarune actually. Kind of. So I've mostly just made Undertale and Deltarune videos up to this point, so my subscribers should like this one. The Darkner pop-up from Deltarune Chapter 2 is partially inspired by Finfin. The artist that designed pop-up even confirmed this himself, but they even have direct references to Finfin in the game. The text that says pop-up is known to say Asubu, which means let's play, is inspired by Finfin saying Asubu, which actually does mean play in Japanese. Pop-up even likes limo fruit, just like Finfin. The game actually says this. If you go back to the cafe in your castle town and check Pop-up's description, you have no idea how happy I was when I found out about this. 2 of my favorite things colliding. Thank you, Pop-up. The Fin car is another thing that exists. It is a special design of the Corsa line of cars. Yes, this is a car themed around Fin that you could have actually gotten. It looks like it is just a blue car with the Fin logo on the side. It also came with the game and other Fin merchandise, including the plushie. Whenever I saw this, I thought it was just a promotional thing that would be at events, but no, I was wrong. It seems like a thing you could have actually gotten. The price is right there. I wonder how many of these are out there, and if any are surviving to this day. I would love to see it. Or have it, give me a car. They really went all out for the marketing of this game. I'm still shocked by all of the weird things that they did. All of those mascots all over the world, the car, his appearance at various events, all the merchandise, and the music. Speaking of the music, there was a second Fin album I didn't mention earlier. Tio, The Other Earth is an EP containing 4 other Fin songs, and they are beautiful. While the Fin Come and See 'Em album has a more fun party vibe, this one is more atmospheric and pretty. Just listen. The 4 songs on this album are Tio the Other Earth, as I mentioned earlier is the outro of the anime, Clock of Fin Fin Songbook, and Wonder Tio. I've actually heard Fin sing Fin Songbook as I've played the game, and I saw someone else mention that they heard Fin singing Wonder Tio as well. So there aren't many commercials or trailers that have been found for this game. There's really only one that comes to mind. This is Another Earth of Me, a Japanese commercial for Fin on Tio that's shot as if it was a commercial for a movie about this Dracula looking guy and this girl finding Tio, maybe? That's just my guess. I don't really know what's going on here. I don't understand the language. It is mostly known for this clip of a cute, realistic Fin jumping out of the water. I really hope we can find more of these. These commercials seem interesting if they're all themed differently like this.
Once upon a time, there was an adventurous boy named Jack who longed to travel past the sun and moon and stars and back. He found a map of planet Teo, a distant, faraway place. So he built a makeshift spaceship and blasted into outer space.
To Tio and Back with Jack is a storybook-style game about a kid named Jack landing on Tio in search of Fin. You may have already noticed this is a very weird-looking game. All of the animations, especially Jack's, look very, very strange. It also has voice acting.
Whew. I made it to Teo. Wow! That's way cool!
So much of what Jack says sounds so strange. It's not like he's wanting to find Fin to befriend him, it sounds like he's trying to hunt him down. It's kind of scary.
But soon he grew quite tired with this game of hide and seek.
Fin, where are you? I just saw you there. I'm gonna get you. I can't give up now. I got to catch that sneaky dolphin bird.
The enchanting music called to Jack and led him to a stream. And there on the other side was Fin Fin and his team. Jack could only watch with envy as they frolicked in the creek. His yearning was unbearable, his situation bleak.
There's Fin Fin, just as I imagined him to be. Look at all those creatures. I really want to play with them. I'll never catch Fin Fin from here. I've got it! The perfect trap for Fin Fin.
Eventually, Jack starts to set up the perfect trap for Fin Fin, a huge pile of lima fruit.
I gotta make it even higher. Hey, monkey face! Don't touch that!
But it all falls on him, catching him in his own trap. Is this what he wanted to happen to Fin Fin? But the kind Fin Fin comes and rescue them, and they become friends. But that's not all. They walk back into the Subu woods where V-Rex comes out, roaring. But Jack saves them by... roaring back?
If you were a real monster, you'd be smart enough and brave enough to find someone your own size. Ah!
Oh my god. This is a very, very strange game, but it is just an educational game for children. But as an adult, it's just unintentionally hilarious and weird. Another Fin Fin storybook is Fin Fin's Tears, an actual book just about Fin Fin. No evil weird kid. This one is sadly only in German though, I think at least. I could only find it in German. Hi, this is me editing. I wanted to make a correction. This book only released in Japan. It was German fan translated. It is only in Japanese and German fan translated. I don't know how I didn't see this or how I didn't know. It must have just been hiding from me when I was researching. I see American copies of Fin Fin say that they come with a Fin Fin storybook, but it could just mean a Tio and Back with Jack, which is referred to as an animated storybook. But luckily, finfin.de creator MG gave us a summary of this book in English, so now I will present to you Fin Fin's Tears. It starts off by showing us Fin Fin celebrating his birthday. While flying around Tio, he finds a strange, clear stone in what looks like this secret inlet. He picks it up and flies away with it to show his friends, but by the time he gets to them, it's gone. He tries to tell them about it and he asks them if they've seen it, but none of them believe that the stone exists. But while flying around Tio again, he spots another transparent stone in the water and he thinks it's the one he lost. This time he holds the stone very tightly in his mouth so he doesn't lose it, but yet again the stone is gone by the time he gets it to his friends. Everyone thinks that Fin Fin is a liar, and this makes Fin Fin cry. While he cries, it starts snowing. They all haven't seen snow before and they believe that it is Fin Fin's tears. There are now a lot of the transparent stones in the water and they realize that they were wrong about Fin Fin lying. So they all get together and happily celebrate Fin Fin's birthday. This story is so adorable. I love it. Fin Fin believing that the ice cubes are a strange new stone and getting confused about them disappearing is so cute. Fun fact, Fin Fin's birthday is on December 25th, Christmas. And that's it for the third tier, so let's enter the fourth and final tier of this iceberg. Even if you're a big Fin Fin fan, some of these might be new information for you. I hope you all enjoy it. Did you know? They tried to turn FinFin into a record label? Yeah, Fujitsu actually tried to do this. Fujitsu and another company called King Records started the label simply called FinFin in 1996, with a kind of scary version of FinFin as their logo. FinFin's cute, but this look with those eyes are just a bit uncomfortable. Kinda looks like analog horror. They mostly just released CDs for the Ebbe Roge dating sim series. I hope I pronounced that series right. And some classical albums. Nothing actually related to FinFin, not even any of their original music they've already made. Just different unrelated audio media. It seems like this was a pretty short-lived project from what I can tell. They really wanted FinFin to be its own huge brand. It sounds like they expected him to be on the same level as Pokemon with everything they did with him. Speaking of CDs, the Nintendo 64 disc drive is a pretty interesting add-on for the Nintendo 64. It was a pretty big failure for Nintendo, but that can all be blamed on one tragedy. This one decision caused this add-on's downfall. No, it wasn't how much the add-on was delayed in its super late release and general lack of games. No, it was the decision to cancel the FinFin game for it. Yes, there was going to be a FinFin game on the 64DD. It wasn't a port of FinFin on Tio the Magic Planet like some articles about this game kind of make it out to be. No, it was its own unique game. There's this post on the old Tio World site where it was talked about in detail by someone that actually got to play it. In their post, they describe how you would be working with FinFin to cooperate with the other animals on Earth, and you can fuse their DNA to make new animals. You then can see how these animals grow stronger and adapt to the environment. This seems very, very different from the original FinFin game. But it's still fitting as the animal and Tio are all combinations of normal Earth animals. Also, this game would have still used the mic, as it was actually being developed by Hudson, the same company that made Hey You Pikachu. If you don't know, Hey You Pikachu would let you use the mic to communicate with Pikachu. A lot of people complain that it didn't work that well, but I've also heard people say it's not as bad as people make it out to be, but I don't know, I never played it. This would have been a very interesting game. I would have loved to play it. For the longest time, this was the only picture we had of this game. But there are new screenshots that were found while I was writing this video, all from an old Fujitsu magazine. FinFin looks a little funny here. Look at this dude. I really hope we can find more stuff about this game someday. The Book of FinFin is an unofficial guide detailing everything you need to know about FinFin, and also has a lot of other fun information about Tio. If you want to know how you should be interacting with FinFin to gain his trust and friendship, have any other questions, or just want to know about the game before you play it, I would recommend checking out this guide. It's a pretty good care guide. It even has an introduction made by Makoto Tezuka, who I've mentioned before is the director of FinFin on Tio. He makes sure to tell us that this is, in fact, not a game and that FinFin is not your pet, he's your companion. This is an unofficial guide that was originally only released in Germany on CDs, but was recently translated by New After Dark on Tumblr and made available online. You can find it on finfin.de and it's fully viewable in your browser. When the Tio World Guide book was found and finally put online, we were all surprised to find out that there are human-like races that supposedly exist on Tio. There are two different races of them, the Tiorians and the Kadak tribe. These are the same ones that we see appear in the anime, but that isn't really considered canon at all. So it was still a big surprise to see them here in this guide. It also mentions that UFOs can be seen on Tio there. People have actually seen these UFOs in the background before in the Meal Forest. Before I move on, I'd like to point out this animal right above the human-like races, the mock Finfin, an animal that looks a lot like Finfin but is more closely related to birds and lizards instead of dolphins and birds. I just think they're interesting. The Fin Fin fans are a rare piece of Fin Fin merchandise that were given away as a prize with purchases of a certain Fin Fin bundle. I would like to point out this adorable Fin Fin art on the fan. I love them. The same article talking about the Fin Fin fans also mentions that a Fin Fin mascot will be appearing in Akihabara. There's not much else to say about these, they're mostly just here because it's funny. The Perna district is a section of Tio that we see in Fin Fin on Tio, the Magic Planet. Yes, we only see a small section of Tio. There are a lot of details that point to there being a lot more on this planet. There's stuff like what we see in the anime, all of the extra animals in the book we never see, and what the constellations in the book actually show us. Yes, there are actually constellations on Tio, and they are the next topic in this tier. There are two different images of these constellations. This one shown in the official world guide is attached to an interview with Tezuka. FinFinFan 1997 posted this machine translated picture, showing that he talks about the chance of these constellations being proof of humans living on Tio, as there are people shown in these constellations with the Tio animals. I love all of these details that have been released about Tio. It makes it feel like there's so much more beyond just out of view in the game. Feels like this game had so much for it planned in other potential sequels and spin-offs that we just never got to see. This really did have so much potential as a series. Before I begin this one, I would like to yet again thank Tumblr user FinFinFan1997. Their research into FinFin related stuff has been amazing, and this video wouldn't be nearly as interesting without all of this information they have found. Do go check out their FinFin posts if you want to learn more. Now, I mentioned the found movie-like commercial before, but there's actually a lost 3D animated commercial for FinFin on Tio. In this commercial, you would see Tio animals in a field, FinFin flying in a beautiful view of the Perna district. But sadly, these pictures are all we have. It would have been 15 seconds of full animation. I really hope we can find this someday. It would be really fun to see these characters animated, and to see the Perna district like this. We do have the schedules for when this would have aired on TV, and on what channels, which can be used to track it down, but there hasn't been anything yet. Hopefully someday. The Maruyoko art dolls are these adorable little FinFin dolls designed by the artist Maruyoko. They are a queer artist that still makes wonderful art to this day. I just adore these dolls, they're just so cute. I love the little heart on them. Apparently these dolls were at an event and attendees were encouraged to adopt these dolls. I really hope that there's still some out there. These dolls are just so cute and I'd love to have one.
から音楽 CD や小説など新旧あらゆるメディアで自己を表現してきました。
I Forget Myself is an animated short film shown at SIGGRAPH, a computer graphics conference in 1996. This short film is sadly lost and hasn't been uploaded anywhere online. When the FinFin on Tio devs eventually moved offices in 1997, they did a giveaway of old items. This giveaway included the short film I Forget Myself, so there are potentially still copies of it out there, but none of the winners have said anything. The only things we have from the short film are this very short clip of FinFin crying that was found in an advertisement, the screen cap of FinFin looking at this book with the Tio creature Tulips, and this clip of FinFin. We're unsure if this last clip is actually part of the movie though, but it seems like it would be. This movie was described as a heartwarming story about FinFin who has been trapped in a cage regaining himself from living freely in Tio. Wow. This seems like it would have been a pretty emotional short film judging by this clip and its description. Another fun fact, this film was also shown in Singapore at an event called Comdex in 1996. It was being shown on a big TV with the text FinFin on the first plasma display for the multimedia age, and the Prime Minister at the time personally went to the booth and saw this. And footage of the Prime Minister looking at FinFin's head was broadcasted throughout all of Singapore. And now we're finally reaching the last topic of this iceberg, the TOOCs. In the Fin Fin resurgence, a handful of people have started to make their own TO animals, whether it be alternate versions of animals on TO like their own Fin Fin or Orchidactyl, or their own original TO-like animal, which would be a fusion of two Earth animals in the style of TO. I was admittedly a bit too nervous to reach out to any of these artists to feature their work here. I'm not very good at talking to strangers, but if you want to see Fin Fin art, I would recommend looking at the Fin Fin tag on Tumblr. The Fin Fin resurgence has been pretty big there, and so many artists have been making some adorable artwork of this game. Fin Fin has inspired so many artists to make wonderful art inspired by this game and TO. It's amazing that so many years after its release, it has created such a dedicated, creative fan base. Thank you, Fin Fin. I love you always and forever. I know that I said tier 4 was the final tier on this iceberg, but there's still one last subject. Down far below the iceberg is one final topic, and that is the Fin Fin floaty. It is a rare artifact lost long ago. It is said that if those that have a pure heart hold on to this floaty, it would carry you away to the magic planet TO, where you will meet Fin Fin and live happily among the other TO animals. And that was the Fin Fin on TO, the Magic Planet iceberg. I had so much fun making this video. This is genuinely just one of my favorite things. So thank you for watching and listening. It means a lot. I hope you all enjoyed it. If you're new to Fin Fin and want to play the game now, here's a reminder to check out Fin Fin on QEMU. It's down in the description below. I hope I've inspired more of you to come and see him, and I hope you all have a lovely time with your Fin Fins. I've been wanting to make a video about Fin Fin for a while now actually, so I'd yet again like to thank Andy for letting me use this iceberg for this video, and for helping out with some of the topics. He runs the Fin Fin blog Living in TO on Tumblr. Go check it out. He makes Fin Fin models and animations, and they're adorable. That's all I wanted to talk about here, I think. So thank you, Fin Fin, and thank you all for watching. Goodbye.